Hi, everybody.
Hey, welcome to the Office 365 Pulse, episode 101. So,
Oh,
just the three of us today, but we will get through the updates probably pretty quickly. There were some extra additions to the roadmap today, so we filtered it down to just the things that were actually for the future going into um, 2021 and things that had launched recently. So, Tom, why don't you start us out with what is in development that you're excited about?
Sure. Since Adam's not here, I may have to think about what I want to do for the geeky stuff if I want to cover any of that. But to start with things I was actually prepared to talk about, probably the big thing in my book is for SharePoint improvements to the web part or text web part for SharePoint pages and news. This is, in my estimation, huge because normally when you go to paste text into a text box, you get just text. Now you can actually paste in text and an image, and it will allow you to actually wrap the text around the image. So it's going to give you the ability to do pages that are much more professional slash normal when it comes to things you would see on a website. They also took feedback in terms of reducing some of the line spacing there because text web parts do tend to provide quite a bit of white space, which is fine to a degree, but after a while you're doing a bunch of scrolling, which isn't obviously good either. So that's due to come out sometime this month, hopefully sooner than later, because I do a lot of things with posting these tips, and I have to paste text in one box, then image in another, then text in a box, and image in another. I'm really looking forward to be able to do all that in a single box. So good news.
I think it's great because I think it's going to make it maybe act a little bit more like Word because it's like,
Hmm.
wait a second, I can do this there. Why can't I do this here? So
Exactly.
I'm excited. That will be great.
yeah, I was very excited about that.
Yeah, well, I'm excited about some changes coming to Edge. So I'm going to just do all of them all at once. So the ability to update passwords with one click if you're saving them there. All of your accessibility settings in one page. So I guess in the settings, there'll be an accessibility settings page. So you can do that there. A lot of accessibility changes coming out to Microsoft. I believe we were just talking about this on a call yesterday. Tamara, accessibility month is November. It's either October or November. So
I
I
think it's
imagine we'll
October.
see October. So we'll probably see a lot of things rolling out there, just making it easier to work with and get your settings there. View File and Explore for SharePoint Online libraries in Microsoft Edge. I know Tom was really excited about that on a previous call,
Yes.
as well as policies to bypass click once and direct invoke prompts. So you can set policies there for your users. The file type links will be open from the browser, and those are all changes kind of running together. So that's a bunch of updates that they're working on for Edge, all rolling out sometime between September and October is where they are scheduled to hit. So that's what they're working on in the world of Microsoft Edge. How about you, Tamara? What do you like?
Well, there are a couple things that have got me a little bit excited. Chat supervisors can delete messages. So this is fancy. This feature was designed with the Teams for Education users in mind, and it allows chat supervisors to delete inappropriate, off topic, or other messages in a Teams chat. So it becomes more like a discussion board with moderators, as opposed to only being able to delete your own conversations. Now, these people with these elevated chat supervisor permissions will be able to moderate the chat in a more effective way. And then one that kind of terrifies me
I know what
is,
one this one is.
yeah, enable Teams users to purchase Teams apps through the Teams store. What? Anybody can go ahead and purchase a third party Teams app subscription who has a credit card, and they can just go and buy whatever they want. Welcome to IT, Shadow IT. Holy cow. I
Now,
hope they
something
also have a way to turn that off.
they do, something that's not actually showing up in the roadmap description
Hmm.
there, but was in a bigger description that I saw come out as a separate email, is
Hmm.
that you do have a way to turn that off. So this only allows people who have the ability to load third-party Teams applications to
Okay.
begin with to be able to do it. So you do have a way to shut that off because much like you, I was like, they've tried this with other things before. It has never gone well.
No,
So yeah, I'm
no, it
glad to
has
see that they're
not.
backing that one out, or not
Oh,
backing it out, but giving you the ability to make sure people can.
cool.
Absolutely.
And then Microsoft Forms, they're rolling out a polling app in Teams meetings and chats. So polling is one of the key capabilities in Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Forms is focused on providing the best polling experience to the customer. Therefore, Forms will release a more discoverable app named Polls in Teams. So adding polls to your Teams chat and meetings via this new poll app will be the same experience as before, like via the Forms app, but now it's just under a new name and it has a Teams branded icon. So that's rolling out in October.
That
So
makes a
those
lot
are
of
the
sense,
ones,
actually.
yeah, because it's a little different than creating a full-blown survey or quiz or anything like that. So I like that it's coming out under its own deal.
So I'm going to pretend I'm Adam right now. I'm going to kind of stroke my beard that's not as long as Adam's is. But I'm going to deal with a number of Microsoft 365 Compliance Center items that are on
Good.
the roadmap. I'm basically going to read it because this is not my area of expertise, but at least you can say, hey, you heard it here. So to start with, Core and Advanced eDiscovery and Enhanced Keyboard Query Language, KQL, editor experience. That should be hitting worldwide in November. You have Advanced eDiscovery Collections Queue. That's for a high volume of collections and stuff that will allow you to be able to do more of this within your environment. Again, that's October and should be worldwide Tenant. Then we skip down a couple. Communications compliance, policy cloning, and consumption visibility, government clouds. So that's coming to GCC, GCC High, and DoD in September, i.e. this month. That then is followed by communication compliance, tagging improvements for government clouds. In November, again, DoD, GCC High, and GCC. We
And
have
by
another.
improvements, they mean the ability to do tagging.
Well, that's an improvement. Then we have communication compliance, analyze link content from OneDrive and SharePoint Online. That's the GCC, GCC High, and DoD coming in December. We have records management multi-stage disposition review. That's worldwide, so that will enable you to use a multi-stage disposition process, including multiple stakeholders and reviews before deleting the content. Then we have Outlook client support for records management. That's coming in February of next year. Worldwide, GCC High, DoD, and GCC. So when a message has a record label, Outlook will natively block corresponding edit and delete operations. So they're giving you the ability to crack down on emails coming in that have record compliance implications to them and making sure that people go, boop, it's gone. I didn't see it. Well, yeah, you did. It's still there. So those are all the Microsoft Compliance Center items that are coming up. Again, if you have more questions, feel free to take a look at the roadmap and see what these are with a little bit more explanation, because as I gave you the caveat before, this is not my area of expertise. Adam could be much more conversant on this, but he's not here.
Well, I don't see anything else too exciting for me.
I'm good.
Sorry, there's someone hanging something in my tree outside.
Oh.
Do you know them, or is it just a random person hanging things in your tree?
I don't know. I'm curious. Anyway, does anyone else have anything in development?
Mm-mm.
Nope, I'm good.
Nope, all good.
It's a city worker.
Oh, it might be a bug trap.
I think it is. I'm going to have to go see what the hang on my tree there. All right. So rolling out. Very distracted today. You can just ask Tom and Tamara. We had quite the show before the show started.
Yes.
So it's just been quite the day. But anyway, rolling out. Tamara, what excites you about rolling out?
Okay. This really excites me because it's coming out to DoD, and my DoD users are like going crazy for this. But the ability to send email from a epoxy address. Epox on both your houses.
That's a sticky address.
All right. This pulse recording just got classy because now I'm quoting Shakespeare. So what it does is it adds the ability to send email from a proxy address or an alias other than the sender's primary SMTP address. Now, it's useful in multiple scenarios like mergers and acquisitions when you need to be able to send from multiple branded domain names or sending on behalf of a team or a department. And of course, and this is when I love when they get verbose on their details for something, because this is just so fabulous. I want to be the person who wrote this. So to kick off our journey, to provide you and your users with the flexibility to send emails using aliases, we're excited to announce that soon Outlook on the Web, aka OWA, will natively support the ability to choose the sender or the from the drop-down list right within the compose pane. And when the recipient receives that message, the from and the reply to are going to show as aliases regardless of where the recipient's mailbox happens to live. So I'm very excited about that. That
Such a journey.
is rolling out. It's such a journey.
Oh, too funny.
And we're telling the story in such a way that you look forward to said journey. So
Well,
yeah, and then I
Go ahead,
got
I'm
one
sorry.
more thing.
Okay,
Calm
go
down.
ahead. Go
All
ahead.
right.
Sorry.
Microsoft Teams revised in meeting share experience for GCC High and DoD. And so they're changing the user interface for the in-meeting share feature in Microsoft Teams to help presenters find their desired content more quickly and easily. So that's coming out this month. Okay, I'm done now.
My turn?
Go.
Your turn.
My turn. Okay, my turn. But it's so small, it's going to be like anticlimactic here. Excel, notes in Excel on the web. So
That is not anticlimactic. That is cool.
Yeah, yeah. Tamara keeps coming into my office and going, "Hey, and you know what else you can do on Excel on the web now?" Because they've been putting a lot of work lately into making it more feature parity with the Excel client. One of the things that they've got coming out here, which is rolling out, says August of 2021, so you may have it already. But that is being able to put notes in the actual cells in an Excel spreadsheet, which at least in the client, if I remember right, it kind of puts a little like yellow triangle in the corner so you can see that, hey, there's a note attached to it. It's really cool to provide some comment and commentary on what you may have done to get to that answer or some description about what you did to get to that answer rather than just having a spreadsheet that people are like, I don't know what you did. So look for that, especially if you've been using the client to take advantage of the note stuff. You can now use Excel on the web to do that too. And again, there's a lot of new stuff on the web that is now feature parity with the stuff that's in the client.
One that I think is kind of interesting is the Teams device management for GCC High, if that was something that you were waiting for. So you could manage your devices in the Teams admin center. So that's room devices, Teams display, collaboration bars, IP phones, different things like that. I'm sure if you were waiting for that, you were waiting for that. So that's rolling out now for GCCH. So that's if you were on the hunt for that one or looking out for that one, that is now rolling out. So that's all I have. Are there any other interesting ones? I guess OneDrive, universal print integration for OneDrive on the web for work or school. If you were printing from OneDrive and being able to print directly to organizations' printers from work or school. I'm sure for teachers that couldn't do that, that now can do that. That is probably a lifesaver. Or for people at work who were trying to do that and needed to. It's one of those things where you're like, why would you ever need to print from OneNote? But then or OneDrive, or if you need to, you need to. So it's great now that you can. So, not everyone goes all digital all the time. So there we go. So I'm sure people are excited about that.
There's
The
one
only
other one
other.
on.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
See if you guys are going to say the same one.
No, you go.
Go ahead, Tom. She took all the cool ones.
Stress,
for
the
this one.
pressure.
I did. I did a lot in rolling out. So
yeah, this is one that won't affect me because I don't have a reason to need it. but I think it's cool and I'm definitely going to try it. And that is on Microsoft Teams. For iOS, you'll now have the walkie-talkie feature, which is push-to-talk experience. It enables clear and secure voice communication over the cloud, enables teams to communicate instantly and always stay on the same page, blah, blah, blah. But basically what it allows you to do is for, say you've got people at a construction site or something like that, and they're equipped with walkie-talkies or they're having to dial cell phone numbers back and forth. This Teams app walkie-talkie feature will basically enable you to push button and say, hey, blah, 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 and be able to get that back and forth conversation without having to be, weighed down with other devices to do this kind of stuff. So I think it's going to be really cool. And in some situations, I think it's going to be really popular. I don't think I need a walkie-talkie feature to talk to my teammates who I can talk to in chat anyway, but I may just do it because it sounds really fun and cool.
But for people who are out in the field, I think this is going to be a real game changer. Yeah.
I think it'll be really cool. It's a good feature.
So the thing I was going to bring up in rolling out was not that, but the new assignment experience in the Modal window for breakout rooms. I'm excited about this because what it does is it's an enhanced user interface for participant assignments. So it includes new capabilities like sorting participants and rooms and performing multiple selections on people and then assigning them to rooms. So it's going to make that room assignment a little quicker. So I'm excited about that. That's rolling out to GCC and the worldwide tenants in this month.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, how about on to launched?
So there's a lot of launch stuff out there. There was even more when we started, but we filtered some down because it seemed like they pulled out a lot of old stuff and just stuck it in there as part of a cleanup effort or something. We've talked about a number of these items, but there are two that I flagged that kind of part of my world, and I thought, yeah, this would be interesting to talk about. One is Sharepoint, the ability to remove the title region gradient. So if you're doing a Sharepoint page or a news article, you'll have your image up at the top, and this is only for the image and title format. But you'll notice if you put the image on there, it fades it to a darker color at the bottom, which is normally you get to where that's just expected. You don't even notice it much anymore, but you may have a scenario where you just want it to be the real color. Like maybe you put a red block in there and you want it to be red all the way down, not bright red to a dark red at the bottom. This gives you the ability to check a box and the color gradient or the region gradient disappears. So look for that. I know it's in our client now, so it's fully launched. The other one that I will be running the PowerShell script for this pretty soon, and that is the tenant setting to disable the creation of new SharePoint 2013 workflows.
Yes.
I still have bad memories of Jennifer calling me one day after we had finished one of these recordings and saying, Tom, are you sitting down right now? I'm like, I'm not going to like what's coming out of your mouth. She goes, nope, you aren't. And that was when SharePoint 2010 workflows were being basically shut off in a very short period of time. While 2013 workflows are not to the point where they're being shut off yet, they have been deprecated with strong recommendations that you probably don't want to be using this anymore. You want to be using Power Automate. I think we're down to like maybe 10 SharePoint Designer 2013 workflows, and I want to shut off and make sure that nobody goes in and starts doing that instead. I think we're still under control. This allows you to keep things under control. So if you are looking ahead and you want to stop having to deal with even more that at some point you're going to have to migrate to Power Automate in all likelihood, you might want to set this, turn it off, and get people using Power Automate in all new circumstances. And that's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, however.
I don't think you are.
Having been burned once, I don't want to be burned again on this one. So
I've touched the stove. It's hot. I'm not going to touch it again.
People. Believe me, you don't want this. So those are the only two really that I had that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these we have talked about in the last few
Mhm.
weeks.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to look for things there's some bookings things, clone an existing booking calendar, updates to staff roles, updated user experience. So those are some of the things that have launched to bookings. I don't think we've talked about bookings in a while, as well as I thought there was another one out there from a toggle available for the preview experience. So you can let people toggle back and forth for the preview experience to see new features if you want to. Let that happen for users. And then that's kind of it. So new stuff coming out for bookings. Oh, and then bookings for frontline workers. So people with F1 and F3 licenses, they can use bookings now too. So that's a good update there for that. So if you're using bookings, a lot of new features coming out in that area there. Tamara, do you see anything in launch that you kind of want to touch on? Again, I felt like this week was a big cleanup week.
Yeah, just a couple things. One, Microsoft Teams tasks. It's hard to say.
Enunciate.
In Teams in GCC. So tasks for information workers in Teams, tasks in Teams gives you a new unified view of your personal and your team tasks powered by Planner and To Do, and it consolidates your tasks across Microsoft To Do, Planner, and Outlook. So smart lists like Assigned to Me brings tasks together across all the different task lists, whether you're on the desktop or mobile. And that's rolling out to GCC, and the regular tenants come September 2021. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was simplified global navigation settings for GCC High and DoD. Government users can now configure and customize their notification settings through a newly designed notification settings section. So this has been a bone of contention. I'm getting notifications when I don't need them, and I'm not getting notifications when I do need them. So that will be good.
Help is coming.
Yes, it's on its way.
Or may even be there.
Mhm.
Cool.
It got
All right.
good.
Well, we have 2 canceled. And these are canceled not with changes. One has been canceled as non-applicable. That's
That was weird. Yeah.
It is being removed from the roadmap as non-applicable. And that's Windows location choice for the Windows Virtual Desktop Service data. And that was where IT pros could pick the region best suited to deploy their VMs. And they could choose where, their metadata, whether they're US or EU geographies, is being removed as non-applicable. So not happening. And then bookings, add an attachment to the notification emails. I guess that would be as, hey, I do a booking, and then you send me a notification email that says, hey, you've been booked. Attached is your form or whatever. That is being canceled. So they are removing that ability off the roadmap. So we'll see if they follow up with anything else to replace that there. So both of those are just signed, buried, maybe coming back. No
Bye-bye.
word on their replacements.
Bye now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So if those are things that you were looking for, you might want to do some searching, find out. I don't have any additional information on them, but those are two canceled items there. So I think that is our show for today. Do you guys have any other thoughts?
No, I really wished we'd been recording earlier so we could have gotten that outtake of your episode with the flora and fauna of the
So I'm just not going to talk about it. I'm scarred.
As she looks up on the wall to see if it's still there.
Not enjoyable. Not enjoyable.
Oh, too funny.
You guys have a wonderful day. And to the fans,
You
or
too.
the audience, I don't know if they're fans, but to the people, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks,
Bye.
guys.
All right. Have a good one.
All right, bye.
Bye.